This year marks 2 decades since Hurricane Katrina. Fox 8 is taking a closer look at what we're calling our journey 20 years later. Tonight, we visit New Orleans East, where Tan Trong found many neighborhoods still pushing for more investment.
Since his family emigrated from Vietnam to the U.S. roughly 50 years ago, New Orleans, and specifically New Orleans East, is where Tung Le has lived. Le can't see himself anywhere else.
No, I love this community. I love it. That's why I don't go nowhere. Yeah. If I hate it, I move out, Ray. You know. Especially my kids. You know, my wife. They love it here too.
That love of the East, as it's often called, can be found in many neighborhoods in this predominantly black and Vietnamese community. Javon Ricard bought a home in the East 9 years ago because she says it brought her closer to her family.
I could have picked anywhere, but I just decided to come to the East because I feel like it was a safe place and a great place to live. So that was the reason why I chose to come to New Orleans East, and I wouldn't move, I wouldn't relocate.
Ricard lived in the East before Katrina. Along with tens of thousands of other people here, she suffered major losses when levee failures unleashed devastating flooding.
I had an apartment right on Chef Highway, and I was here for the hurricane. So I lost everything. My family, everybody who lived out here, my family, we lost everything.
Like so many communities along the Gulf Coast, time in life in New Orleans East is often segmented. There is pre-Katrina and then post-Katrina. New Orleans City Council member Oliver Thomas, whose district includes the East, says before the storm, this was the place where black families could realize the American dream of home ownership.
Especially when you talk about middle class and upper middle class, black New Orleans, it was their place.
Estimates of the overall population in New Orleans East in 2005 put that number around 95,000. In the years following the storm, it dropped significantly. The 2020 census had that number at around 75,000. That's a 21% decline. In the years after the storm, many residents say it's been an ongoing struggle to convince businesses and developers to invest in the East.
New Orleans East homeowners and residents said New Orleans East wasn't going to be green space and it wasn't going to be abandoned. But at some point that capped and we became the place on the other side of the high rise. And that's what people are fighting against now.
While there have been several large apartment complexes built, the establishment of New Orleans East Hospital, and movement to redevelop the old Six Flags amusement park, people like Tung Le says New Orleans East is starving for more grocery and retail options.
Family Dollar, General Dollar, everything closed. I don't know why, but you know, I go there. I go General, you know, but they closed, and now I got to go to Walmart.
We have one Dixie, which we're grateful for. We have Walmart, but I just think a little bit more variety would be great.
Javon Ricard says the East has been stigmatized as the city's dumping ground and an area handcuffed by crime, which may factor into the lack of development here. And when it comes to crime, Quinn Ngo says her particular portion of the East feels less safe. She owns Diamond Billiards in the Village de l'Est subdivision, where earlier this year, a beloved owner of a grocery store was shot dead during a robbery. Ngo says she and her fellow business owners try to be aware of their surroundings.
When you come in the car, you need to watch out everywhere. Yeah, safety, nervous, everything.
Like breaking into cars and rob and all that stuff like that. You know, it been a lot now.
Javon Ricard says she takes a broader view of crime in the East.
I feel like there's violence everywhere you go. It's just not talked about. Having a background in corrections, I know that there's violence all over New Orleans, not just New Orleans East. I just feel like it's targeted more as soon as something happens. Councilmember
Thomas says the East has made significant strides to reduce crime since 2022.
As Chief Kirkpatrick said at our press conference, we're leading the way in overall violent crime reduction here in New Orleans East.
That may be so, but Kong Tran says whether it's crime or a lack of business development, more young people have left New Orleans East, including his kids.
Not only move out of New Orleans East, you move out of New Orleans, you move out of Louisiana. You know, for my case, all my 5 children is moved out and refuse to come back.
But on the flip side, you have people in New Orleans East who refuse to leave. People like Tung Le and Javon Ricard.
The reason why I stay, because my family's still here. My sister and all my family's still here. And all my relatives and friends like that I know still here, you know. sometimes I want to move somewhere else, but you got to start from beginning.
If people don't know that we had a hurricane 20 years ago, you would never know. I mean, some houses will, you could look at it, you could tell, you know, that we've had some damage, but the way we've came back so strong, you wouldn't even know. And I feel like we could only get stronger and stronger and better and better if we invest in our community.
The numbers will tell you that New Orleans East is smaller population-wise, but there are things not measured, like the commitment shown by those who remain.
It's smaller for sure, you know, but there's a good thing about it. We stick together, we help each other out. That's why a lot of people don't go just because of that.
In New Orleans East, Tan Trung, Fox 8 Local First.